Hey, Patty, how are you doing? How is the family doing? I know we haven't connected in person for a while, so I really do want to know, how are you doing, Patty?
Hi, Richard. Always a pleasure. Doing well, staying busy, staying healthy, thank God. Keeping the kids in school. And I have an 8-year-old now and a 16-year-old girl. So driving and working at Starbucks. So the family's good, Richard.
Well,
Max is 8. So growing up quickly. But we're staying hopefully, healthy and just really, really blessed to have this great family. So very fortunate.
well, good. Speaking of family, I don't know about you, but I know there's a game coming up really soon. Are you planning to have a party at your house? And I know working for Wells Fargo, you have access to some great information. And I got to tell you, I did hear you on the radio the other day talking
You
about
did.
this. I did, I really. And I thought, why isn't Patty talking to me? And here we are. So
Here
let's
we
talk
are.
about it. Let's talk about this. The cost of hosting a Super Bowl party last year to this year. What is your insights?
Well, Richard, unfortunately, it's going to set us back a bit further, about 14%, depending on your choices for your menu selections. But yes, food inflation, not to anybody's surprise, is at an all-time high. And we're definitely paying more for basic staples. And certainly, for Super Bowl type foods, we're going to be prepared to pay a lot more, especially around proteins. And I know we all like our carne asada and we like to barbecue, as you know, and unfortunately steak and beef are up over 20%. And so we're definitely going to pay more at the grocery store for our favorites. But, maybe we balance it out with loading up on some veggies and some guacamole. And the cost of that is only up a couple percentage points. So maybe we can balance it out.
So now not only do I have to worry about balancing my budget and calories, I've got a lot more things going on here. Thanks. I appreciate additional stress that you're laying on me, Patty.
So sorry, Richard. I just really want to be truthful. You know me. But our chief ag economist, Dr. Swanson, studied all this and gave us the sad truth of what our expenses are going to be around the Super Bowl. And fan favorites like wings are an all-time high, over 20% increase in those. So a little bit cheaper if you make your own rather than buy the frozen kind that are ready to serve. But still, your hamburgers are going to cost you 17% more. I mean, the least expensive of the meats in terms of increase from year to year is pork. So maybe we make some chuletas, or maybe we get the pork loin ready to go.
I love this. The fact that you're giving us some alternative solutions to this. I really appreciate this. Hey, wait a minute. We know that Latino families are a little larger than others. So we're really going to feel the impact. And
yes, we will. But, the great thing about Latino families is that we can do a potluck. We all can bring something and share in the expense. I think that'll make it a little bit less stingy for everybody, but then also balance it out. Like I said, avocados is major staple, right? Who's going to have a Super Bowl party without guacamole and chips, right? So the prices on those aren't as high as some of the proteins, and maybe you load up a little bit more on those and in a veggie plate, and maybe some refrescos, sodas. Wine and beer are actually only up 3 and 4%. So you can definitely afford to have some good drinks, and maybe not a filet mignon, but maybe some cerveza to go around.
I like it. I hope you're going to be posting pictures of your party with all these items. Hey, but to be serious here for a second, is this just a short-term financial impact on the family, just right around Super Bowl? Or is this something that we can expect to stay in our lives for a while, and quite honestly have to adjust our spending habits accordingly?
I think it's the latter, unfortunately. I mean, I think we've all been feeling this thing at the pump, at the grocery store, everywhere we go, we just are experiencing higher costs. And that's for a bunch of reasons, some of which are obviously the higher labor costs that exist, right? If you go to Starbucks or McDonald's, your starting wages are $15 and $16 nowadays, right? So there's definitely additional expenses that are in our economy. The supply chain problems that we're having, like everything is just harder to get to the grocery stores. And through the pandemic, we have suffered from a ton of shortages of our favorite staples at the grocery store. And the reason for that is, we have a lot of shortages in the trucking industry, for instance. To get your food all the way to the shelves, it's a process, right? So it has to be transported from whomever's putting it together to the outlet that's selling it. And that's become a challenge as well. There's an all-time low level of truck drivers. And so all those increased expenses have translated in increases in our everyday lives, right? So we see the food is particularly obvious to us because we're spending a lot of time at home with this pandemic. And so we're cooking more meals, right, rather than going out. So you're really feeling the impact of those increases at the grocery store. And there's a couple things happening that I don't know if you've noticed, but I noticed these things. Shrinkflation. Okay, so where you go to your favorite place and your portion all of a sudden has gone from, this size to this size. So people are trying to, lower their expenses on their offerings by making portions smaller. And then there's what I call skimpflation, which is you go to a place, maybe you go to a hotel, and the amenities are all of a sudden non-existent. The restaurant isn't running, the spa's not working, the gym's not open. So you get less and less for your money as you're buying into these things. And, I think overall, it just makes up for kind of a higher cost of living that I think it's kind of here to stay, because I don't see, frankly, the shortage of workers resolving tomorrow. And I don't see, there's already been announced several interest rate hikes that are going to be factored in. So everything's just going to become a little bit more expensive. So I think this is probably, to a certain level, going to become the new normal.
Well, we know each other through our activities with the Hispanic Chambers of Commerce and the community. You were recognized by Hispanic Lifestyle back in 2017 as a Latina of influence for all of your work in the community. But in your role with Wells Fargo, I'm sure that you come face to face with these small, diverse, minority-owned businesses, veteran businesses. What kind of advice are you giving them based on your own experience of how to improve their outlook in the future?
It's really a time to really hunker down and figure out, go back to basics, right? You really need to take a look at all your expenses, evaluate, do I need this? Do I need to provide this? I mean, business owners have been impacted in the past almost 3 years by COVID, and some in a positive way, because all of a sudden demand's going out, product is going out the door really fast, or some of them, like restaurant owners, small business owners, where there's no traffic at the stores, no traffic at the restaurants, have been impacted and have had to, really pivot and do more takeout and do more shipping and do an online store, right? So business owners really have to, ask themselves, how do I set myself up for success, that I can withstand all of this that's going on around me, the impacts of COVID and the pandemic, which, seem to continue to be longer than we all thought they would be. There's also inflation, a higher rate of interest coming up if they borrow, right, for their business. And so you really need to, I think, understand your cost structure, evaluate it, try to trim where you can so that you can be set up for success. I mean, a lot of these business owners were living, paycheck to paycheck, frankly, and sometimes didn't really have the liquidity to bridge them through 2 or 3 payrolls, right? So many businesses, it's estimated that over 30% of our small businesses have shut down. And that's tragic, because a lot of people put their entire life's work into building a business, and then they see it, fail in this time that we have that is so unexpected. But I also think that business owners that are disciplined, that are looking at ways in which to run their business in a smart way, into, that pivot at the right time and do the things that they can to survive, go on survival mode, will make it. They also, I would say, they need to avail themselves of all the resources that are available to them. So whether it's, the PPP loans, a lot of businesses apply for those, but many did not. Are there other government type programs, like local or maybe even state programs that they can take advantage of? Are there chambers of commerce providing advice and some training on pivoting? A lot of what I do here in the local chamber that I'm part of, we're doing a lot of advising of businesses on how to do these things. If they do have to go into a different area or unfamiliar area of business, and on how to do that in order to survive. But I think above all, you have to have that self-discipline of really, I think, going down to the level of, I know all my expenses. I know the money's going to the right things. I know that I can trim maybe on some of these things. Maybe investment isn't the right time right now to buy an additional piece of equipment or load up on additional debt. We all have to kind of figure out what it means for ourselves and for people as business owners. But I do think that there's a lot of resources out there. And we, frankly, as a bank, really support a lot of organizations that are helping small business owners succeed. And we've put all of our proceeds from our PPP loans, over 420 million, to work into supporting the resiliency of small business owners. And we hope that many, many more survive than go out of business, or those that have gone out of business, that they can restart at some point.
Well, I will say this, Wells Fargo has definitely been innovative in their approach to helping small businesses and business in general, of course. Hey, I know we're limited on time. I really want to thank you for spending some time with me this afternoon. But before I let you go, you have a little prediction? Are you rooting for anybody on the
my
game?
team is out of contention. I'm a 49er fan because I was 14 years in the Bay Area. But now that I'm in Southern California.
I knew that. I
right?
knew that. I forgot what team beat them.
49ers. And the LA Rams beat the 49ers. Yes. So I am going to be rooting for the Rams to beat the Bengals by 10.
By 10. Oh, you even put it on. Oh, wow. I'm not even that bold, believe me.
Hey, you got to get out there. Put yourself out there.
Well, and you did. So again, hey, before I let you go, any final thoughts that you would like to share with basically it's going to be our friends watching this, Patty. So. Well,
thank you, Richard. Well, what I would like to say is, hey, I miss you all. It's about, I'm so ready to see you back in person. I can't wait for us to get back to more business as usual here. We're here as a resource. Wells Fargo is here to support you. Let us know if we can be of help to you. We're definitely committed to being the bank of choice for minority communities, and we're very proud of the work that we're doing on diverse segments. And I'm always here if you need me, and please don't hesitate to reach out. But, have fun, enjoy the Super Bowl. We've had, over 2 years of being, impacted by the pandemic. Some of us have had, a lot of issues and sickness and family members and all that. So just take the time, enjoy yourselves, watch the game, root for your favorite team, and enjoy some guacamole, some chips, not too much carne asada. Definitely go for the beer and wine. So you'll still have a good time.
I definitely will. And especially if the Rams win.
Yeah. I didn't ask you because you wore your feelings on a sleeve today.
Is it a little obvious? I wanted to be subtle about it. So.
Yeah. Not too subtle, Richard, but I get it. I'm with you.
Right. Hey, thanks again, Patty. I appreciate it.
Yes, it's great seeing you, Richard. Take care of yourself.
You too.